Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to?
Welcome again to Street Talk. My name is Ahmad Shakarakan. And on Street Talk, what we do, we talk about things happening here in Michigan, the U.S., and abroad. We do political, social, and economics here. Now, joining me tonight,
Charles Thomas.
Paget Maynard.
We've got a lot to cover here. But Paget, we've been talking about the women's that's been elected this time. I don't know how many, but it was quite a few.
Yes. We have, I think it's about 100 or just over 100 women now would be in the new House of Assembly.
Okay.
Which is a good thing. And I rather like the composition. You have more of a representation of the true America.
Okay.
You have blacks, you have whites, you have Hispanic.
Yeah.
We also have a Muslim woman there now too.
Yeah, but
which is great.
Is she from Wisconsin?
No,
No.
she's out of Michigan here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's great because, you know, sometimes we look at a person, oh, she's a Muslim, she shouldn't be in there. Now, she's an American.
yeah,
She has every right to be there.
yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
And besides, what does being a Muslim have to do with what contribution she could make? Maybe she can make a greater contribution because she understands another side of the coin that some of us don't.
Yeah, different perspective.
Different perspective.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that makes me angry is that of all the different religions here in this country, time you say Muslim, oh, people, you know, I mean, really, you know, it's really,
It's tabooed.
yeah, it's really sickening what it is because we got all these different religions here, but when you say Muslim,
Yeah, nationality.
Yeah.
Ahmad, the problem is Muslims have been associated with terrorism. All right? And because of that, every Muslim now is seen as a terrorist by some people. They didn't stop to know these people because I could tell you, I interacted with them, some of them, some families. And they're sweet, wonderful people. And you got homegrown American terrorists too. And you got terrorists of all color and all religion. So,
well,
Yeah, well, what happened to us during slavery? That was terrorism.
yeah, right,
You know, so
Yeah.
if you want to call, you know, if you want to point a finger,
yeah,
you know, we invented terrorism.
yeah.
and by the way, the Christians were doing it too.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. It just really angers me, you know, is that all these other religions and you know, I've studied from the say 71 or from 71 or 72 all the way until now. I tried to read all these different some of these different type of religion and everything. But you mentioned that in the last few years, you know, they've been people who want to hate, but you know, it teaches love.
Yeah. A friend of mine, Brother Norman, he told me just this past weekend, a good Christian is a Muslim, and a good Muslim is a Christian. It's all about righteousness.
Yeah.
Listen, man, Muslims, Christians, and Jews.
Yeah.
They were known as the people of the book. There was some interaction, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's something in the Quran that implies the unity because of the this background they have in this greater, well, some say Allah, some say God, some say Jehovah, but this being,
The same
that
one.
supreme being.
It's the same one. It's only one.
Yeah.
You can call him a different name,
Yeah.
but it's only one.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. But we won't go all into that. We just I just want to throw it out there because I
Yeah,
get
we got to be more open-minded.
Yeah, I get so sick of people when Muslim, they give it. Oh well, it's like, it just. But we had these ladies, all these different ladies. We had an Indian lady,
Mm-hmm.
an Indian lady, and some
Any Hispanics make it?
Hispanic lady from New York.
New York?
Yep. There was another. I think it was two Indian ladies. Anyway, but we got all them in there now.
Yeah, yeah. I was out of the country when the election happened, and we got on somebody in the group got on Facebook and seen that we had a lady governor now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And we just went buck wild. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. But Patrick was saying something about Wisconsin.
Oh,
That the now we got Democrats then come to some power over there. Now they want to change some of the rules in Wisconsin. What about that?
yes, sorry. I didn't get the whole scoop. I just saw the little snippet. But they are trying now, in this last month of the year that they'll be in office, to change things such that the governor and the attorney general, they're going to strip them of some of their power. Now, bear in mind, the governor coming in and the attorney general are Democrats. House and Senate still Republican because of gerrymandering. And what they're doing is making sure that, for one, the attorney general cannot opt out of this case they have in court. You see?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that case was about the special counsel.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Either that or Obamacare. One of those two things. But anyhow, they're trying to make sure the attorney general cannot opt out of this case. And secondly, they want to make sure the governor can't do certain things. So they're stripping power because they still control the House and the Senate. In fact, it's believed that probably tomorrow, House and Senate would have voted on it. And it's, I don't want to say a word that's going to sound too terrible, but it's rather ironical that this was good enough, this power was good enough when you were in office, but because you lost, you're going to strip so that the incoming administration can't do anything. You're handcuffing them, as so to speak. But now they're going to have to do some redistricting, and they're not going to have the control of the House and the Senate there as they do now, because they definitely are going to lose several seats, which they're only holding now because of gerrymandering.
Isn't that a crime or a criminal, a lawsuit or something? I mean,
it may not,
they just
it may not be a crime.
Yeah, they just pulling things out of the sky or something.
It may not be a crime, but it is very unconscionable.
Right. Yeah.
Very, well, uncivic minded, I like to say.
Yeah.
Well, The thing is that a lot of people don't understand and won't admit, but Republicans don't believe in any other law but theirs.
Right. Yeah.
In any other laws, they want to do away with just what they're thinking about doing. That's it.
Yeah. They conjure up things so that they can benefit. Like it's like moving the finish line.
Oh yeah.
So they can keep the lead.
Yeah.
And we sit back and let it happen is just watch and complain. you know?
There's a program, kids program, Backyardigans. And this guy, he's the Mayor Stinky Pants. They had a competition. You go first. Mayor always gonna go last. But guess what? They had to do some long jump. You have to jump from back here. And when his turn to jump, he moves it up from right the edge of the pit.
Yeah.
So, and every time he has to do something, it changes to accommodate him.
Right.
Isn't that what we're seeing in politics today?
That's what it is. That's what it is, man.
Yeah.
It's a thing where, and lots of people don't see it that way, but I'll give it to them. 25 years ago, the Republicans wasn't like they are now. Now they just they don't care whether you know it or not. They just gonna do what they want to do.
Yeah. And everything is focused around money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Money is the driving force.
Yeah.
Or money is
Oh, yeah.
a slave that's pushing everything.
Yeah.
And corporations are into that. They're buying and they're lobbying and they're doing whatever it takes
Yeah.
to keep ahead of the game.
Yeah.
And it's not going to change. It's only going to get worse.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel sorry for the black community.
Chuck, it's gonna change. Maybe not as quickly as we want it to. Change is gonna come. Change has to come.
Yes, it has to come.
And you know what? When the change does come, some of those who are on the top now and creating problem and confusion and all the rest of the downsides we're having, the tables will turn.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you something. It's going to start right up at President Stinky Pants.
Well,
I believe that. But Stinky Pants shouldn't have got in there anyway.
Well, he told you that?
Yeah. And he don't want to be in there. He done everything when he was elected not to get elected. But he got in there, and he's been clowning ever since he's been in there. How long is it going to take to get that clown out of there, Stinky Pants out of there?
Oh, man.
well, when we was talking about, y'all was talking about change going to come.
And do a march.
1962, when Sam Cooke did a record, change is going to come.
Yeah.
And what we at now? We at 2018,
still in the mix.
Yeah, and
It went backwards.
we're going backwards.
Yeah.
We're going backwards.
You know, in some sense, it might seem that way.
Well,
but there's quite some progress has been made.
well,
And unfortunately, there's a tendency to accentuate the negative instead of the positive.
okay.
If we can look some more, a little deeper, we'll find a lot of good things happening. But one of the problems we got is those on top now, they are so scared of losing their position and what they perceive might happen to them, because they think the others, if they get on top, will treat them the same way or worse. But it's unfounded. It's an unfounded fear.
Well,
And so they keep doing things, and you're seeing more of it, a little more brazen now than before. And that makes it look as though we were actually gone backwards.
well, I'll agree. We seen things happen. We see things happen, and we see different things happening, but
We ain't
When
putting
we-
nothing in place.
yeah, when we take a real look at it, we're like that old song, what was her name? In the Civil Rights March, what was her name? Fannie Lou Hammond. You know, we make one step forward and two backwards. You know.
Yeah.
I said 3 forward and 2 backwards.
Yeah. But
So you're getting a little edge up.
yeah.
Well,
I see the world changing, but the African American community is not changing.
yeah, right.
And I see fear. You know, to me, when I look at religion in our community, if we believed in what we were being taught every Sunday, then we would have the same equivalent that other people have in other communities.
Yeah.
But we don't stand behind what is being taught. The Bible speaks about building a family, building a community, and building a nation. In the black church, they talk about building a building or church.
Yeah,
They don't talk about building the family
Right,
and the community.
right.
Their time is spent more on religion and then the reality
Brother
of
Chuck,
our life.
I want to think, and I believe I'm safe in saying it. The problem is more greed amongst the ministry,
Okay.
ministers.
All right.
It's more, what could I get out of it?
Right.
Like one time I was invited to speak at a church, and this person was asking me, are they going to pay you? How much are they going to pay? I said, I don't need pay. I said, but they're supposed to pay you. No, I'll pay to go.
Right.
You know? But it's all about lining your pocket. One preacher had a guest speaker come in. They do a revival. They take an offering for the speaker. I have no problem with that. But then he was heard saying, is no way no preacher coming in there again and getting more than he gets out of it.
Yeah.
So it's pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
me.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing where you know, I believe and you know, me and Dennis argue about it all the time.
Yeah.
I say that it'll be 200 years before we do anything, and he always, you know,
It wouldn't be that long.
he always says it won't be that long. But just what y'all said, the ministers, you got all these ministers out here.
For
and-
themselves.
Yeah, that's, you know, they out here for themselves. So how can you be out here telling a group of people something when they know that you are just out here trying to line your pocket?
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, that's because we have a group of people, Christians. They don't read the Bible.
Okay.
They don't study for themselves. It is, well, Reverend said. But what does the Bible say? They don't know.
Yeah.
Because they only go by what he says.
Right.
And he's only going to tell you what he wants you to hear so that you can revere him
Right.
instead of God.
Right.
And it happens.
Yeah, not only that, Patrick, the thing, I've talked to a lot of my Christian friends, and I asked them, have they read the Torah? They never
don't
read
know
the
what you
Torah.
mean.
Yeah, man, Jesus taught from the Torah, but they'll put all their money on the Bible. But to me, if you don't understand the Old Testament, you're going to be confused in the New Testament.
Chuck, say it louder, because this guy, we were schoolmates back in the day. He's now a minister. And we were talking something one day. He said, oh, Maynard, that's Old Testament. I say, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're not in the Old Testament, we're in the New Testament. I said, well, don't you tell people, come now, let us reason together, said the Lord.
Yeah.
Though your sin be as scarlet. Well, isn't that Old Testament?
Yeah.
But it's convenience. They want what they want out of it. I mean, we end up getting a whole lot into religion.
Right.
But the whole point is, we got to understand, we want to know what God says through his holy word.
Right.
If you're a Muslim, I expect you to read your Quran.
Right.
And don't just listen to what somebody says. Because just as we have lots of Christian ministers giving lots of wrong thing, you have a lot of Muslims who are teaching wrong stuff.
Yeah.
And
Imams.
as a matter of fact, somebody told me one time that this one said it's okay to eat certain things, which we know
Yeah.
no Muslim would eat.
Right.
But he's now telling them it's okay to eat that. And I say, I bet you he has a business with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, see, you know, for us, blacks, we've gotten away, you know, and what's that, 10? You know, whatever religion, to me, I respect that. But for blacks, somehow this religion, this so-called religion, has got in the front of us from doing anything, you know. Because it used to be, you know, when long time ago I was young, you know, it was like we did these things and we always talked about you know, religion and all these, but we was doing these things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, we got a lot of people now, they do everything and go to church one time on Sundays.
Yeah.
And
holier than thou.
Yeah. Yeah. So
That's what I'm saying. They faking it. They don't believe in it.
Right.
But they just going through the rituals of doing it. But they don't know how to apply it. And the preacher is benefiting from it because if they know the truth, then that'll push the preacher out the door.
Yeah.
Because if you knew the truth, you wouldn't need the preacher.
Right.
And I just went to Ghana.
Okay.
The delegation, Barbara Mason and Bill Brewer.
Okay.
And we went to the slave dungeon, the place where they had slaves.
Okay.
And what I found out is before they got to the dungeon, they had to walk, most of them slaves, 700 miles. Barefoot. 700 miles.
700 miles.
Yeah. And then they came to a river, Slave River. Then they made them take a bath, greased them down, and then they branded them. And then they had to walk another 30 or 50 miles to the slave dungeon, whichever castle they were leaving from. And they stayed in those in the castle underneath a church. White folks was having church above the slave dungeons. And when they wanted a woman or a boy, they would come down there and abuse them. And if the woman didn't consent, then she would be put in prison and starved to death. And then it was just so much trauma that when we made it, the ones that made it over here, you was a super person to survive what Christianity sent us through to get over here. And now we've been indoctrinated into the Christian religion, but yet and still we have not gotten our rights as humans. And that is a perpetuation that the black church is not addressing.
No.
And you know, Chuck, that is not that.
And it's sad. The treatment that we had to endure and still endure.
Yeah. You know, one of the things that angers me is that once we got here, and you know, I say it to some people, and me and my sister sometime we used to, like 10, 15 years ago, we'd kind of get into the religious thing because they still go to the church over here, and my three sisters, and you know, but to me, when they taught you that religion, that was what we were used to.
No,
we wasn't used to that.
No. Yeah, we were very spiritual people.
Yeah.
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 We were so in tune with the universe
Yeah.
that if you had to be careful what you thought about.
Mhm, yeah.
But somewhere, when you break the covenant of creation, the original covenant,
Yeah.
in Deuteronomy 28, he said that he'll send a people against you that make you a slave, and they wouldn't know you wouldn't know that you couldn't speak their language, and they would abuse you. It's right there in the book.
Yeah.
Deuteronomy 28.
Yeah.
If you don't believe me, read it for yourself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when there's a covenant that you got to live by, a covenant of righteousness, and the porthole to that covenant is honesty, truth, faith, hope.
Yep.
When you plug into that system, the universe is obligated to assist you
Yeah.
to become successful.
Yeah.
But when you tell people that you don't get yours until you die, or a white man is God,
Yeah.
you ain't got nothing coming.
Right. And see, that's the thing, man. I remember when I was, 8, 9, 10, all that, we would be, you just want the day's end. You either
Yeah.
hungry.
Yeah. Your butt will go numb up in
Right,
there.
right, yeah, and the old people, well, things will be better when you die. It's like,
Yeah. In the great by and by.
yeah, I mean, it's like all these other races of people, they're doing good,
Yeah.
but we got to wait till we die before.
Right, right. Everybody else building
Hey.
a nation,
Yeah.
got a culture.
If we are talking biblical perspective,
Yeah.
if we believe the Bible as it is, okay, you're going to have here. But the greater good is in the hereafter. I mean, if you go back, you find that Nirvana was the big thing, and that was to come. It was still something to come. But right now, the reason why it seems as though the black man gets nothing else is because the so many of us take on this negativity, this inferiority complex. We are less than, and we can't do. But I'm gonna tell anybody, you can't find anybody who was more knowledgeable than the black. That's where the root of it is.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I see where you're coming from, but if you tell a person that they ain't worth nothing for 400 years, they're going to believe it.
Okay.
Okay, but you got
But now we have to take time to erase that. It's going
Right.
to take a while.
Right, and you got to live heaven right here on earth.
Actually,
Because-
Chuck, you look, you are right. When one comes to accept Jesus as his Lord and Savior,
But you got
as the Christians
Yeah.
would say.
But you have to clarify, Jesus, is he black or white?
Wait. I ain't worrying about the color now. Right now, color doesn't matter.
It does.
No. Color. No. Jesus, the Son of God. That's who we're talking about. Okay? Let who wants to give color, give color. Hang on there. But the thing is, once you accept him, a whole lot of difference going to be in your life. There were times when you would be killed just because you're a Christian. It's going to happen again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. My thing is, it says that if you make any graven images, you break the covenant.
Okay, thou shalt not make unto thyself any graven
Okay,
image.
Now, we didn't make the graven image. The Caucasians made that graven image. So we just fall in the line saying that is Jesus. But we
Chuck,
not sure.
brainwashing is a big thing.
well,
And once you brainwash a people, it takes a while to undo it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And the problem is today, too many of us are not too interested in the undoing process.
Right.
We have to take time and teach.
Right.
Don't let anybody make you think that God chose America as his divine, messianic force to be a sort of policeman of the whole world. God has a way of standing before the nations with judgment, and it seems that I can hear God saying to America, "You're too arrogant. If you don't change your ways, I will rise up and break the backbone of your power. And I'll place it in the hands of a nation that doesn't even know my name. Be still and know that I'm God.